Hi, I'm Amy Lohr, and this is the Essential Oils for Everyday Living class by Oils Wonderland. And today I'm going to go over some of the basics about essential oils. However, I found that the content I give often isn't necessarily the basics. So we will be talking about what essential oils are, how to use them safely, and the different methods of using them. We'll talk a little bit of just a small amount about history, kind of, how they've been utilized throughout time. And generally, how you can use them in a healthier lifestyle. We'll talk about some safety and precautions. We'll also talk about how to assess purity of essential oils, which is a really big thing because essential oils are quite popular, which is great in many respects because if you get good quality, safe essential oils, they're, very powerful and useful for many purposes as a support to all of your body systems. So that's great, but at the same time, there's a lot of bad quality essential oils that it can actually be more harmful to your health. So we'll go over some of that. I'll talk a little bit about my experiences with essential oils. I'll give you a few tools and tips in using them. And I'll also highlight throughout this, I'll speak a bit about the brand that I've used, which is Young Living, and how I came about purchasing Young Living products and why, and sort of my history with trying out different companies and what landed me in using Young Living essential oils. And whether you pursue using that product and getting that through me, or you use that as a marker for their quality control and seeing whether the other companies that you're exploring or using kind of meet some of those same quality standards, and use it as a comparison. That can be really helpful as well. So there will be a little bit of branded content in this, but you're going to get plenty of information beyond that, regardless of where you're at in your journey with using essential oils, if you're experienced, if you're already working with a company or not. So I want to share a little bit about how I got into essential oils. Really, it started with having a lot of health issues that I would say are more nuisance and chronic health issues as opposed to kind of, some severe issues. But I might also be minimizing some of it. But at any rate, having issues with asthma chronically over a period of 15 years, environmental allergies, sensitivities, digestive health issues, also some chronic pain that wouldn't go away. And finding that everything that I pursued in Western medicine over that period of time really just, it didn't help. It either aggravated or I needed to continue to use additional medication to manage symptoms. And I kind of made this decision at one point that I was gonna invest in any alternative healing, what was considered alternative or complementary healing techniques and practices and medicines that could be useful. And I went into that with a lot of skepticism, but really I was kind of desperate because nothing else was really helping. And it's been a long journey over these past 3 years when 3 years ago that I started using Young Living, and alongside Young Living essential oils and nutritional supplements and some of their household products and personal care products, using that alongside with other methods and treatments. So we always say to people, look, you really have to take a holistic approach to your health, and you have to take responsibility for your own health, because even what I share and say about my own experiences, it's not going to be directly applicable to you. It really only just shows one example as to how you can integrate essential oils and these products into your life. And you really got to do the research. You got to talk to your doctors if you're seeing doctors or holistic practitioners, whatever it might be. But through taking that holistic approach and learning how to get in better relationship with my body and better communication with my body and understanding what it needed, peeling back the layers of emotional issues and trauma and stress, as well as dealing with the physical, how to physically support my body with nutrition and exercise and essential oils and nutritional supplements, and better understanding how all of those are functional and supportive of the other. At first glance, it might sound like it's a complete overhaul, but, I'm talking about over periods of years, what I gradually had to integrate and let go of. Like many of you do as well, we've all gone through journeys with our health and wellness and having different goals and different successes and failures and mistakes with all of that. So I'm here to say that a big factor in the health issues that I was dealing with at the time was just severe allergies and sensitivities. I couldn't use even the best organic top of the line products, still in retrospect had chemicals in them that, they didn't identify because they were using these labels of natural and pure and therapeutic. And they still had hidden chemicals in them that were still creating sensitivity for me. So I got really curious about, okay, what is actually in these products? What is actually, the most natural products I can find? And where is there a company that I can actually trust? And I had a really hard time for several years, actually. I even tried to make my own products, buying some essential oils from another company because I didn't stumble across Young Living yet. And still, I couldn't use that stuff without sneezing, breaking out in hives, and having my asthma triggered. So I knew very little about environmental impacts of chemicals as well. And there's really a great database with the Environmental Working Group. If you're not familiar with them, Google that. They have an awesome independent database of any of the chemicals that are in the products in your cosmetics, as well as your cleaning products, your personal care products. So you can search the ingredients, you can search the specific products, and they grade those ingredients in those overall products based on how harmful or non-harmful they can be to your health. And they actually pull together all of this research and science from all over the world on those ingredients. So it's really a way to be educated as a consumer and really know what you're exposing yourself to. So that was one of the first things, being able to increase my awareness of what am I actually really exposing myself to, and why am I having these symptoms when really my doctors didn't have any answers for, why I was so symptomatic. But the truth is, it's the chemical overload. It was also the severity of pollution that is in the city that I live in, that is Pittsburgh, and the buildup of those over time. The deterioration of the lining in my stomach that didn't allow me the ability to actually digest nutrition well enough to actually really absorb the nutrition. But also because of the deterioration of the lining in my gut, any of the toxicity in my body was actually leaching into my body instead of being fully purged out. So all of those things kind of add up over time. You need to be able to heal your gut. You need to be able to actually absorb nutrients and nutrition. You need to detox properly, and you need to stop exposing yourself from these chemicals that are truly harmful as well. So that's the wisdom of all of this suffering and the trials and mistakes. And the point by which I got exposed to Young Living essential oils was after I started doing some of that work and detoxing and eliminating some of those chemicals and getting the right supplements. And I went to a energy healing session, and the practitioner pulled out some essential oils and didn't ask me, sadly. She should have, but she pulled out the essential oils and started using them, and I smelled them. I thought for sure that I was going to have a reaction because I hadn't been able to have any kind of scent or aroma in my life at all. And I didn't. So I asked her, what was that? What is that? And she mentioned that it was Young Living. So I explored the company. I started to look at, okay, well, why are some essential oils I'm really super reactive to, the brand and the company, and how come Young Living didn't have that reaction? So I dug into purity and sourcing and eventually sustainability, because I care about the environment as well. And Young Living met all those standards. And furthermore, to actually be able to get the essential oils into my home and start using them, they don't make me sick. So I can safely say that these products are pure, they're of the best quality. And generally speaking, they should not make you sick. And the reason why I say that is your body is unique to you and what you're sensitive to, and particularly how the essential oils act in your body might be different. So you might become symptomatic. That might not necessarily indicate a sensitivity to the oils, though. That might be your body trying to heal or purge or cleanse. So those are different actions and responses to essential oils. All right, so main point is that there's a lot you can do with essential oils. And to start talking a little bit about what essential oils are, so you can better understand that. Basically, they're the most potent part of the plant. So essential oils are derived from any of the plant material. So it could be the leaves, the flowers, the fruit, the bark, the roots of the plant, depending on how, where the essential oils most are in that plant and what we tend to use from that plant. That is taken from the plant and put into a still where there's typically steam that's used to distill the essential oils from that plant material. And if you have a company that is doing a good job in that distillation process, they are making sure that there are the temperature controlling that steam, that it doesn't get too hot, because if it gets too hot, it will deteriorate the constituents or the useful parts of the essential oils. And that kind of like defeats the purpose. You might still smell the aroma, but the constituents are of poor quality, or they're deteriorated by the heat. So that's one point to note, that essential oils can be deteriorated by heat, by sun. So you don't want to keep them in your car. You don't want to put them in sunlight. The essential oil bottles that Young Living puts them in is an amber colored bottle. And so that amber keeps the sunlight out. So you want to make sure that you're looking for a company that is taking that step. If they're not, automatically, if they have a clear bottle, they're not handling the essential oils properly. You want that bottle to be colored. Generally, amber is what's utilized to keep the sunlight out. And, putting essential oils in the cold can also make some changes as well. So you want to keep it in fairly moderate temperatures. So in the distillation process, that the temperature is controlled. And that takes more time, that takes more attention, that takes more testing. So that also means that that is more of an investment. And the cost of the essential oil is going to reflect some of that as well. So when you see a inexpensive or cheap essential oil, you're probably getting a cheap essential oil, because those extra steps that actually make sure that you're getting an essential oil that's still useful take more time and more money to actually make sure that you're getting a good grade of essential oils. So essential oils are also very versatile. Really for thousands of years, people have been using them for spiritual purposes, to uplift their mood and emotions, support overall health. They've been used for cosmetic purposes and skincare, for cleaning, aromatherapy, personal care. And essential oils ultimately support any of the body systems, from your cardiovascular to your cognitive, emotional, respiratory, digestive, muscular, skeletal systems. They are able to support any of the systems. And the way that they act is by when we're inhaling them, or taking them internally, or applying them topically, they are entering our bloodstream, and they are supporting the body in its natural abilities to heal. That's the best way to understand it and look at it. So just think about, even with nutrition and things like that, there isn't really a cure-all there. It is supporting the body and its natural abilities to do what it does, and supporting the structures that are there. So that's how we can use it to support any of the body systems. Essential oils are also what we call volatile. And this simply means that they evaporate very quickly when exposed to the air. And each botanical has a volatile profile that gives it a distinct aroma, flavor, or other properties. And those properties are what we refer to as chemical constituents. So if you actually look at the molecular structure of the essential oils and do various testing, you can see what constituents are in there. For instance, linalool, I think I might have said that right, is a chemical constituent, or menthol is a constituent, and we associate specific aromas and notes to those constituents. And you can actually research those constituents to get more of the research on any essential oils that have those constituents, and how those constituents impact the body. One of the things that's really challenging to do is to say a specific oil has a specific actions, and the reason for that has a specific actions in the body. The reason for that is because plants are quite diverse. There are no exact replica conditions or environments or seasons that plants experience. So therefore, every plant has different essential oils. It might look very similar, but there's also going to be either slight or greater variation depending on what that plant is exposed to. And a big part of that is because essential oils are the plant's first line of defense against any harm done to it, such as bacteria or fungus, or pest, or any other kind of dangers from weather or temperature. So you will have essential oils evolve with that plant and adapt with that plant depending on the conditions. So when we actually extract it, we are seeing the results of that. And that's the beauty and power and wonder of essential oils too, and how they then support us alongside the conditions that we're faced with, and how they can be supportive with our bodies. So that's really an amazing point with essential oils, and helps us to also be more deeply connected with nature and how it is that support for us in the day-to-day. Being more aware of that and starting to do your research. There's a lot of resources out there that can help you better understand some of that. But you also have to really understand that essential oils react to everybody differently. And that's just a concept, and holism too. Herbs react to everybody differently. Food reacts to everybody differently. So to actually kind of take that reductionism from, this plant does this thing or this oil does this thing, it can sometimes do a great disservice to you. So I actually really encourage people to first and foremost work with your understanding of your body and communicate better with your body. And through experimenting and trying essential oils, learning how to get in deeper understanding and deeper intimacy with your body, which is another amazing blessing and benefit of using essential oils, is you get that chance to do that. So, one of the things that happens with essential oils, depending on your exposure to essential oils, maybe you've never even smelled them before. When we open a bottle of essential oil and we smell it and take a few deep breaths of that, what happens is the volatility of the essential oil that I talked about. These are actually called VOCs, volatile organic compounds. And that means that these aroma molecules of essential oils are really small, fine molecules. And the volatility means that they'll go up in the air and eventually they'll deteriorate and kind of dissipate. So if we're exposed to them, though, we breathe them in. Any aroma molecules, really, this is the case, including unhealthy molecules like pollution or the chemicals that are in some of the household products that we use are also VOCs. You can see now a lot of labels on paint that says it's low VOC, but there's still some VOCs in it. So that when you're exposed to things with VOCs, you smell it. There's an aroma to it. And that dissipates into the air and you breathe that in. And the first thing about VOCs and aroma molecules is they go through the olfactory system into the receptor sites, and then they go straight to the limbic system in the brain. And the limbic system in the brain is responsible for memory, emotions, and your ability to also process or not process things with trauma, depending on how taxed that system is. It's where we regulate our stress response as well, and our nervous system. So, just stop and think about that for a minute. When you're exposed to aromas, how it affects your memory. When you think back to a time in the past when you were exposed to that similar scent, and whether that was pleasant or unpleasant or even traumatic. So scent is very powerfully linked to our emotions and our memory. So that is a really important thing to think about when we're using essential oils as well. It's accessing emotions and memory, and we can utilize it as a support to those processes as well. Okay, so I also want to say that essential oils are quite potent. Let me give you a number here. The distillation of over 1 pound of peppermint is in a 15 milliliter bottle of peppermint oil. So this is a 15 milliliter bottle. And 75 lemons it takes for a 15 milliliter bottle of lemon essential oil. And I think it's something like thousands of rose petals into a 5 milliliter bottle of rose essential oil. So I think it's like in the 30,000, it might even be more than that, rose petals. And the thing about floral essential oils, oftentimes the reason why they're so much more expensive is, and they should be more expensive if they're actual real and good quality, is because there are very specific settings in which you need to be able to harvest the plant material and make sure that it's not bruised. Usually there's a very small window of time when the essential oils are at their peak. And what's great about Young Living and the founder, Gary Young, is that he did tons of this research and brought in other researchers who are now part of the company who study all of this stuff and this chemistry and what's the peak time for extracting essential oils. How do we not bruise these, the plants? Because if you bruise the flowers of the plant, the constituents that we just talked about deteriorate. And now you don't have a good quality essential oil anymore. So they work really hard at making sure that everything is picked and harvested and distilled at its peak, which also means that that's taking a lot more time and investment to do so. So you're seeing that in the end product of the cost of the essential oil too. And you're also seeing it in the quality. You have this very pure, potent essential oil at the end of the product in the whole process. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the methods of using essential oils. So let me take a drink here real quick. So the three main methods of using essential oils are topically, through inhalation, and internally, not eternally, although I don't know, maybe, but internally. So topically is taking the essential oil and diluting it. You really should be diluting it. And I'll talk about how to do that safely in a minute. And then applying that to your skin in some fashion. So the reason why we dilute essential oils when we're applying them topically is because they're so potent. There is enough, I don't think I'm going to get the full statistic right on this, but there is enough essential oils, there's enough constituents, that's what I want to say, in a drop of essential oil to directly target all of the cells in the body several times over. So if that's the case, you do not need to directly apply that essential oil to skin. And you also don't really often need to use a full drop of essential oil for it to be active and supportive to your body. So dilution also, it's more economical, it's less wasteful, it's safer for your body. And if you don't dilute the essential oils, you can also get sensitization, which isn't the same as an allergic reaction. It's actually generally over time, as you're using essential oils straight or neat and undilute, your body develops a sensitization where the constituents in the essential oil and the benefits of the essential oil are no longer beneficial. So that can take years. It could take just one occasion of that happening. Some people, they say, I'm going to take the risk. My body really wants these undiluted. I'm going to use them that way. And that's their personal choice. You know, nobody can restrict you from doing that. Just keep in mind that that sensitization can happen at some point over time. And then your body just basically rejects that essential oil and can't use it. So you want to keep that in mind and do your best to dilute them as much as you can. One of the ways that is really easy to do that is, you know, after taking a shower, you're, you know, hopefully applying a moisturizer or a oil or something to your skin, or a body butter, something fatty to lubricate and nourish your skin. After doing so, you can, you know, put a drop of essential oil in your palm and then apply it to your skin. You've already created the layer of something fatty there that helps to dilute it, and that sensitization won't happen in that case. So that's a really simple way to integrate essential oils into your routine. So we're diluting essential oils with what's called a carrier oil, and a carrier oil is any base fatty oil. It could be a sunflower oil, jojoba, almond oil, fractionated coconut oil, body butters. Some lotions are based in oil. You just got to be careful with some of the lotions you use. There might be some chemicals in there that that's kind of defeating the purpose of using that alongside essential oils. Olive oil, any of your cooking oils are carrier oils. And you're just taking some of that carrier oil and add a drop of the essential oil. It will quickly emulsify and mix together, and then you can apply it to your skin. You want to be aware of, there are hot oils and cooling oils. So some of the hot or warming oils are a lot of your herbaceous plants like rosemary, oregano, thyme. I'm gonna forget a few others, but most of your garden herbs, the essential oils from that are going to be hot. So you really want to dilute them and dilute them at a pretty high ratio, more of a carrier oil and a lot less of the essential oil. And then there's cooling oils like the mint family or eucalyptus or wintergreen are some of the more popular cooling oils. Now, warming and cooling oils, you can get chemical burns if you don't dilute them well enough, and certainly if you apply them neat and direct to your skin. So you absolutely want to dilute them and start out with a way higher dilution. Like you might even do a teaspoon of carrier oil to 1 drop of a warming or cooling oil. See how your body responds to that. If you put it on your body and you get a reaction, there's redness or you feel burning or it's too cooling, then just apply more carrier oil directly to your skin. That's the way how to deal with, you know, overdose, if you will, or any of the reactions. Apply something fatty to your skin. So that's some of the important safeties and precautions. There's also essential oils that are photosensitive. So the citruses, all of the citruses, if you apply them to your skin and you go out into the sun, I think it's 12 hours. Let's see here. Let me put the caution on here. I want to make sure I give you the right thing. Yeah, you want to avoid direct sunlight or UV rays, so including any tanning beds, for up to 12 hours after applying the essential oils. And that's including if you dilute them. You really have to know your dilution to make it diluted well enough to be safe to use the essential oil. But if you don't know that, or the citrus essential oil, but if you don't know that, then proceed with caution and just stay out of sunlight after applying the essential oils, the citrus oils to your skin. Another workaround with that is use the citrus essential oils under clothing. So that area of your body obviously is not going to be exposed to sunlight, and you won't have problems with that. Or sometimes I apply it at nighttime. By the time I wake up in the morning, you know, it's exceeded 12 hours, so I'm good to go. You will see there are some citruses in some of the skincare line, but keep in mind those have been safely diluted enough that there isn't an issue with the photosensitivity. And those are the Young Living skincare products. And what happens with the photosensitivity is you'll actually get blisters at the second layer of your skin, which, you know, is as horrible as it sounds. So you really don't want that to happen. It's you won't actually really see or notice a burn on the top of the skin. It's over a period of time you'll get the blistering kind of coming up from the second layer. So yeah, totally avoid that. Okay, so we talked about UV heating. I think that's it with topically. One of the safest and easiest ways to use essential oils is through inhalation. Just, you know, one way is just opening the bottle, taking a few deep breaths, smelling it that way. When you're doing that, you're getting a high concentration, though, of the essential oil because it's direct. What is even safer and a way to more greatly ease the essential oils into your body and your system or into your household is using a diffuser. And I'm going to show you the diffuser that I have here. This is an example of one of Young Living's diffusers. And it's hard to show on video, but it has several different light settings, including a candle wick setting. So it's a great replacement to candles that are toxic. And if you want to hear more information about toxic chemicals, get to my Creating a Toxin-Free Home class. I talk about candles, I talk about fragrances, the chemicals in your house. You get some good information there. But you just take this off. Then it has a second compartment, and you can see there what you do is you just fill this up to the line, the ridge here, with water. You're supposed, the best is to use distilled water because that doesn't have any kind of bacteria in it. And the only reason that matters is over time, you will have to clean this. Usually I clean it like weekly. You do not submerge it. You just put some soapy water on the inside and warm soapy water, clean it out with a sponge or paper towel, and then you're good to go. And then the pieces I just took off, you can clean in the sink. But you fill that up with water. You put anywhere from maybe 3 to 7 drops of essential oil, depending on how large the space is where you're diffusing it. And what's great about Young Living's diffusers, and this is really, really important, is that they're not using heat to diffuse the essential oils and creating steam. If you were here earlier for the class, I talked about how heat will deteriorate the quality of the essential oils. So you don't want a diffuser that uses heat. These diffusers actually use ultrasonic technology. So they're using sound to gently vibrate the water and the essential oils and creating a vapor with that goes up in the air and disperses throughout the space. So because that's a slow dispersing of the essential oils throughout the space over a period of time, you can better regulate dosing and exposure to the essential oils. So it's truly one of the safest, easiest ways. It will automatically shut off when the water runs out. So you can do it throughout the night or throughout the day. If you leave and forget about it, no problems. It will just do its own thing. And the other thing about diffusers, you know, you can purchase diffusers all over the place. It's about the quality of plastic. So essential oils will actually, when they're exposed to plastic, they will leach out the petrochemicals from that plastic, unless if the plastic is a specific form of hard plastic where that's not the case. But the majority of plastics, if you have a plastic water bottle and you put some essential oils in that water bottle, you're actually leaching out the petrochemicals from that water bottle into your water, and now you're drinking that, which is a really bad idea. You don't want to do that. I see that all the time and I cringe when people do that. I see people promoting that. That is bad information and inaccurate information. When I will talk a moment about why not to put essential oils in water, period. But please note that essential oils and plastics don't mix unless if they're a specific type of hard plastic. So the plastics that Young Living is using for their diffusers or their bottles that they might have the personal care products in or cleaning products in, they're all the proper kind of plastic that you're not going to have the chemicals leach out. So that's really important to know. Most companies out there that sell essential oils aren't even aware of this. They're looking to sell them cheaply and inexpensively so they can, make more money. I made the mistake of purchasing a second diffuser for my home before I was aware of any of this information from Amazon. And I had it for 3 months. As soon as I started using it, I was aware that the essential oils and the aroma coming out of the diffuser was slightly off, and I couldn't pinpoint what that was. And after 3 months, the diffuser actually broke. It no longer worked. So a couple things happening there. One, the aroma that I was smelling was the addition of those petrochemicals being leaked into the essential oils, as well as heat being used and deteriorating the aroma of the essential oils and the constituents. And then the horror of it broke because the essential oils were deteriorating that plastic and it was no longer functional. So not only is it bad for your health, but it's also kind of unsafe. So you don't want to just get any kind of diffuser. I'll talk in a little bit here about the starter kit that Young Living has with their essential oils and their diffuser, and how you can get all of that bundled together so you can basically get started, get ready, get going, and use it very, very easily. So let me talk about internally, and then I do want to talk internal uses, and then I do want to talk a little bit about why Young Living, and whether you pursue Young Living, which I really hope that you do, that you don't waste too much time exploring and researching other companies. Certainly do that as much as you need to, but don't really delay it too much. If you go to the company's website or reach out to me with your questions, I think you'll be satisfied with all of the answers that you get, that you really have a good company and you don't need to keep searching. But at any rate, I'm going to talk about why their standards really are the best in the industry. And, whether it's just you're looking at those standards and comparing it to the other companies that you have, or you're realizing, okay, this is some really great standards, I'm just going to go with this company. Both are, I figure, are useful. So internal usage. First thing with internal usage is probably 99% of the essential oils out there from different companies should never be taken internally. They are also generally not approved by the FDA for internal usage. The FDA, I know that I have international people checking out these classes. The FDA in the US is what regulates being able to ingest food or supplements or take anything internally. So Young Living has actually gone through all of the regulations and the protocols to get approval from the FDA to take a specific line of essential oils that Young Living created, for that line of essential oils, it's gone through that whole process and gotten the approval for us to take them internally, just like, you know, a food additive. And that line is called the Vitality line. And it's actually a white label. I'm going to see if I can find a bottle here. You can see it is this white label as opposed to a solid label. The solid label is their regular essential oils. And their white label is what is kind of stamped and approved by the FDA to be taken internally or to be used in cooking. So when you're checking out Young Living, you can know that they have both lines. And actually, like, for instance, they have a regular lavender essential oil for sale, and they have lavender vitality. That lavender has actually been taken from the same vat of essential oils in the distillation process, and just one went through all of the tests, so the FDA could say yes on this one, and the other one, you know, went through Young Living's tests to, you know, make sure it has its own, you know, meets the standards for their testing, and that gets sold, you know, in their regular line. So it's really just the quality is the same. It's really the same stuff. It's just like all things with regulation, this one went through the testing. So this is the batch that we can say is approved for it. So you can keep that in mind as you're purchasing products. But the big thing about taking essential oils internally is, again, you want to make sure you're diluting. You're not putting them straight in water or liquid, because essential oils are hydrophobic, which means that they repel against, I think that's the right phrasing, repel against water. So if you put a drop of essential oil in water, it will just kind of sit there. You'll see a little bubble of it. It won't emulsify or disperse. So that's bad, because the first thing that essential oils look for is something fatty to kind of cling to. And if you're drinking it, the first fatty thing it makes contact with is your skin. So it quickly will absorb and cling to the fat in your skin, which is where you can have reactions or sensitization. And your tongue holds all of the meridian points for your whole body and is extremely sensitive. So you don't want to be just ingesting essential oils that way. And there's generally not a need for it. We encourage people that if you're taking essential oils internally, that you're doing it very acutely. There's something very specifically that you're looking for those essential oils to assist with. You're not doing it regularly. Because it can really mess up your biome in your gut. And you don't want that to happen. And you can also, over time, get chemical burns in your body. Even if you're diluting the essential oil with a carrier oil and taking it internally, or fatty substance, it can still just be too much for the sensitive parts of your organs internally. So you really want to proceed with caution. It is great, however, to use in cooking. Like I talked about before, the constituent profile will deteriorate in heat. So you might not get as much benefit for your body by cooking with them. It really depends on how you're cooking. If you add it at the end, if you put it in the beginning, is the meal cold? But because it's dispersed throughout a larger portions, generally, it can be a bit safer to take that way. So these are all considerations with that. People usually love this tip with drinking tea with essential oils, so I want to share that, and then I want to talk about Young Living standards, and then I'm going to get your questions here at the end. So you can infuse tea with essential oils, but here's the trick to doing it. You want to get your plant material for your tea. or your tea bag, put it in your cup. Don't put any water or anything else in it yet. And put a drop of the essential oil direct on the plant material or the tea bag. Make sure it's getting in contact with the plant material in the tea bag. Let it sit there for 30 seconds, a minute. Doing so, the essential oils will emulsify with the salts in the plant. And after that, you can pour the hot water on it, and the essential oil will then be evenly dispersed throughout in the water. It won't have that separation because it's emulsified with the plant material. So that's a way to safely enjoy your tea infused with essential oils, and just only do that periodically because, again, it tastes lovely. Once you do that, I love doing that with chai tea. Put some of the Thieves essential oil blend in that I'll talk about in the starter kit, and then add some milk to that. It's amazing. But you don't want to do that all the time because your body doesn't actually need all of that inside, but it tastes lovely, right? So we got to pace and regulate ourselves. So lastly, what Young Living does that kind of sets them apart with quality control and standards. They have what they call the seed to seal standard. So seed as far as putting the seed into the ground, to seal, which is sealing up that bottle of essential oil at the end. Throughout that whole process of before the seed is even put into the ground to when the bottle of essential oil is sealed and shipped off to you, they are testing the essential, they're testing all of that, not just the essential oil, but the plants at least 8 times. And they're testing that 3 times. They're testing that all at the farm. And then they're testing it again in the manufacturing process, like putting it in the bottle, all of that. And then they're testing it when it's about to go be shipped to you. Because those 3 different time periods, the quality can all change. If it's sitting in the warehouse and it's exposed to cold or heat, it can change. So they want to see that it's still the same quality as it was in that vat in the still. So you're getting 8 points of testing at 3 different intervals. And also they're looking at when they're cultivating the land and the plants and all of those things, generally speaking, they've made sure that for at least 50 years, which is more of an international organic standard than a US organic standard, which is only a few years, for at least 50 years that there have not been any synthetic chemicals or pesticides used on that land before they even start planting. So their standards really far exceed what's out there in the industry. It's also really important for you to know that when organic is assigned to an essential oil, that is only for the plant material that is in that bottle of essential oil. It's not for anything else that's added to that bottle. So the FDA in the US does not regulate essential oils. So there can literally be anything in that bottle of essential oil. Terms like natural, fragrance-free, unscented, things like that. Even the essential oil term, none of that is actually regulated. So people misuse and abuse that. And a lot of times there's synthetics, there's additives, there's carrier oils added into that bottle of essential oil that you're getting. None of that is the case with Young Living. You open up a lemon bottle of essential oil, all you smell is lemon. I've gone to places like Whole Foods to check out their essential oils and smell them in comparison with Young Living's. It doesn't even compare. The top of the line organic essential oils from that Whole Food sells, I can smell other chemicals added into that. And typically chemical solvents are actually used to extract essential oils from the plant material because that's cheaper. That doesn't cost as much. But the problem is that chemical solvent stays in that essential oil. There's no way of removing that. So these are all of the cautions that you need to have. But I can tell you that you can definitely trust the quality of Young Living, and you can trust them as a brand too when you're looking at purchasing essential oils. So I want to show you very quickly, and while I'm doing that, if anybody has any questions that you want to put into chat, you can feel free to do that. And I'm just going to show you here the starter kit that I talked about. You might need to move your screen around just a little bit. This is the Young Living starter kit, which comes with a diffuser that I just illustrated for you. It also comes with 12 different essential oils. Some of them are singles, some of them are some of Young Living specific blends. I'll identify those real quickly for you. There is Peppermint Vitality essential oil. Remember, the Vitality line is the one that's approved for internal usage. There is lemon. There is citrus fresh. Digize, which supports digestive health. There is the Thieves blend, which is an essential oil blend that is infused into Young Living's cleaning line, their Thieves cleaning line. So you can get an all-purpose cleaner, laundry soap, any of your household cleaning products. Young Living has a product for that, which is really, really amazing. I'm so excited about that, to get rid of the chemicals out of my home so I didn't have all that sensitive reaction. They have that. Young Living actually has over 600 different products that are plant-based. They're natural. So the Thieves all-purpose cleaner, for instance, is all plant-based. There are no, every ingredient in there is a plant-based ingredient, and the essential oils added into that, which are obviously plant-based. So you have a great, actually very effective cleaner to use, as opposed to many of the other brands and companies out there that have added essential oils, but how do you actually know the quality of those essential oils? Especially when essential oils can have so much added chemicals into them. So Thieves blend, it's a great spicy aroma, perfect. Here in Pittsburgh, we have our winter season, perfect for that season. You have Raven blend, which is supportive of your respiratory health and your immune system. Valor blend, which is just one of our most popular blends to support your emotional health. The aroma is amazing. It's very sweet and grounding and earthy, and not too of an earthy way, just kind of a grounding way. Has a sweet aroma of blue tansy and some black spruce in it. Panaway, which supports your muscular and skeletal systems. You have Peace and Calming, which supports what it sounds like, Stress Away blend. Lavender, and I might be missing one there. So what I love about this kit and the oils in the kit is it is so versatile. You can really start integrating essential oils in your daily life and routine, and support you through the different issues that you're dealing with, and integrating aromas that are non-toxic. Get rid of the air fresheners, the candles that are harming your health, and instead bring in something that's just a plant that isn't going to hurt your health and is actually going to support your health. So when you proceed to get the starter kit, how do you do that? So how do you take the next step, which I really hope that you do take the next step. Get rid of all the crap in your house that you probably don't even realize is there, because I didn't realize it was there for me. And I am never going back. You will feel the exact same way once you start bringing this into your home. You'll love the aroma, first of all, and realize, wow, I've I've been having so much synthetic, unnatural stuff in my life. Wow, what have I been doing? Why didn't I do this sooner? So you'll love the aroma, and you'll love how it's supporting a natural and healthy lifestyle. That's really what Young Living is about, why they have a makeup line that is mineral-based and natural, why they have personal care products, nutritional supplements, which I'm going to do a class here, hopefully in the near future, about some of the supplements that have really changed my life. They have a cleaning line, all of that stuff that you can slowly start swapping out what you're investing in into those products with things that are supportive and natural, and aren't going to have those harmful effects that are well known with a lot of those products. So how do you take the next step? You go to youngliving.com, click on become a member, and you might need to select your country of origin if you're not in the US. So make sure you do that. The starter kit might be a little bit different. So if that's the case for you, reach out to me at the email address listed here so I can talk to you about your kit, your options. But if you're in the US, you're going to go to youngliving.com. You're going to click on become a member. You're going to see this starter kit that is pre-selected. This is the premium starter kit. You get the diffuser, you get the 12 oils, you get a hand sanitizer that has the Thieves essential oil blend in it, and it is all natural, plant-based. It kills 99.9% of germs. So that is your great swap for the hand sanitizers that you're using right now. There is also a Thieves spray that has 70% of alcohol in it. So we know with the CDC that kills germs, and also has the Thieves blend in it and is plant-based. So use that when you're going to the grocery store. Great substitute. And then you get samples of Ningxia wolfberry juice, which is a whole fruit, high antioxidant fruit juice that is truly amazing and supportive for your health. So you're getting all of that in the kit. The starter kit is $165 US. And usually if you're getting all of this individually, like if you just go purchase one of these products here and there, you're looking at paying over $400 for that. So I love the starter kit as a way to get started because it's the most economical. And getting the starter kit means that you're going to become a Young Living member. And membership simply means that you're going to have a lifetime wholesale discount of 24% on any products going forward. And you don't have any other requirements. So it's a no-brainer to get a starter kit, get that discount. You can continue to try out products the most economically. You then have the choice to opt into Essential Rewards. Check out my video on YouTube on Essential Rewards. I detail what that is and why that's a smart, economical choice. It's a way to get rewarded back for points by making a monthly auto ship order that's custom to you. You change it at any time. So opt into that. When you do that, when you get your starter kit, that custom Essential Rewards order won't ship or process for 30 days from the date you get your starter kit. So you have 30 days to actually decide whether you stay on it, whether you change your order, and I will meet with you during that time to go over all of that. So I always say to people, it's risk-free to opt into it. You're going to get 10% back from the start by opting into it. So you might as well go that route. You can change your mind later. You're going to be asked for my enroller and sponsor ID number. Doing that, entering that in, means I continue to be a person that's a support to you. You get access to a great community of people that are part of my Oils Wonderland team. You get more educational support, community support. It's really a great thing to do. I'll be able to answer all your questions and connect you to the resources you need to keep learning and living healthier with these products. So my sponsor ID number is 10774919. So that's 10774919. You're going to enter that in, complete the enrollment process, and then I'll be in touch. So Once again, my name is Amy Lohr, and if you need to reach out to me, please do so at oilswonderlandteam@gmail.com. So that's just oilswonderlandteam@gmail.com. So I really hope that you take the next step to live a healthier life with getting a starter kit. If you want more education and you need more information before you can make that decision, I do a supporting emotions with essential oils class, mindfulness and essential oils. I do a creating a toxic free home class. And there's other classes I feature regularly. Coming up is 12 essential oils that I'm featuring from that starter kit and the uses for each of those. So you have a lot of options to get more information, but also say to you, don't overthink it and hesitate. We're simply looking at how to live healthier, how to live more naturally, how to bring in something supportive to your body and your system that you don't have to go through to synthetic, unnatural stuff. Or at least if you do, you have something pretty regularly that you know isn't going to be harmful for you. So it's a no-brainer there. All right, I'm going to stop the recording right here and pose